Inside the Arena is presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sportsbook.
Welcome to Inside the Arena, your source for everything off the ice, off the court, and outside the field of play. With your hosts, KOMO Sports Director Niko and KOMO Senior Reporter Chris Daniels.
You got the buttons.
I got the button right. There was a lot of applause in the streets.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
It's been one heck of a week and a half, has it not?
It has. I wouldn't trade it for anything, though. World champs.
It is unlike, I think, anything that we have seen or experienced, you and I, in our time here in Seattle.
I was the dummy who worked 10 days in a row before even leaving for the Super Bowl. But no, it really was. And I think the big thing to take away from this is you don't know when your team or your city is going to be winning another championship. Like if you said after Super Bowl 48 it's going to be 12 years, people would have said, you're crazy. This team's built for success. And we know this year's version of the Seahawks is built for success. But you never quite know. Super Bowl is so darn hard to do. So you have to really savor this moment, almost act like you don't know when it's going to happen again, and then hope for the best that we do see it, that they win a Super Bowl in the Niners field, then the Rams field back-to-back years, which would just be the most amazing thing I've ever seen in sports. But wow, what a moment. What a moment for the city and for that group of guys who are really special. And they're one of one, no question.
And that's why if you're following along on the television side or on YouTube, you and I are more casually dressed than we normally are because we have been down at the Super Bowl in San Francisco thanks to Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yeah. We broadcast Inside the Arena last week from down at the Super Bowl experience, and then we've covered the parade and the 2-mile long parade. You did great job with our colleagues Steve Solis and Molly Shen on the call of the parade, the victory parade, championship parade. I walked the entire stretch.
You have a long stride, by the way.
Yes, you noticed that down at San Francisco.
Well, listen, yeah, people don't know to go from the press box to wait to go on the field is probably, I'm guesstimating, like a 3/4 mile walk. And Chris Daniels, man, he's hustling. I couldn't walk and keep up with you. I had to jog. I'm like, dude, stop. But we couldn't stop because we were kind of pressed for time, so I had to run the whole time.
We had to get down there and get on the field, and that's a good segue to say we've got lots of content that we haven't been able to share with you on the TV side. Niko was in the locker room in Levi's Stadium immediately following the Seahawks victory in Super Bowl 60, and you talked one-on-one with JSN, with Abe Lucas, with Ernest Jones. I ran into Chris Pratt on the field.
Amazing.
We're going to share all of that with you in this episode.
Right. And it's some of my favorite content because it's the raw emotion, just minutes or whatever it is after the Seahawks win Super Bowl 60. You get to talk to these guys. Abe Lucas from here, what it means to be local. Ernest Jones, who in January of 25 told me they were going to hang another banner up in the VMAC. And then I'm like, dude, you called your shots, and gives me a look. He's like, I called a lot of shots this year.
And shout out to Abe, not only in the locker room with you, but at the parade, he's wearing his Cougs stuff.
I think it was the same Cougs shirt.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was amazing. And JSN was really emotional, obviously, in the best way, a really endearing way. And that was a great conversation. So we're excited to bring all of that to you. Again, thanks to our friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
And one of the other things we're going to cover later in this show is there's been some news percolating in the last week about the potential return of the Sonics to Seattle and the NBA. And we're going to hear again here pretty soon from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver about where all of that stands. But even while at Super Bowl Sunday, there was discussion about the Sonics return, and I had a chance prior to the parade to talk to Senator Maria Cantwell from Washington State, who is a friend of the show, has been on this show a couple of times, and she is talking about her timeline, what she believes is the timeline for NBA expansion. You'll hear all of that later in the show, but we always like to do it in this show. We did it in San Francisco. We do it every week. We call it Four Corners, what's good, what's bad, off the ice, off the court. off the field of play. It's been a long week. We're just trying to find the color-coded buttons here.
But the audience on YouTube couldn't see it, but I'm waiting to see him. He's like, is he going to push the right button? Admittedly, I forgot which one that was too.
So it's pretty easy to say what's good and bad this week, right?
Yeah, listen, I'll kind of expand on it. Obviously, you could just say, Super Bowl win, end of segment, boom. I love that this team just came together the way they did. It was their worst game of the year back on November 16th. They lost to the Rams, even just by 2 points, despite playing that game. And they decided, well, wait a minute. We played our worst game and we only lost to the team that everybody else thinks is the best by 2. We're a pretty darn good football team. And they took that moment and ran with it to the tune of 10 straight wins and Super Bowl 60 belonging to our city. And again, it's a special group. They're one of one. The rest of the NFL is going to try to emulate what the Seahawks did.
Yep.
You see this. Remember when Sean McVay first burst onto the scene? There was like 10 young offensive mind head coaches that were hired after because they had to find the next Sean McVay. No, it doesn't always work out that way, right? Because Mike McDonald, in the case of right now with the Seahawks, is one of one. The culture he set is unlike any you will ever see in the NFL. The group of guys are just the perfect mix to buy into that culture and to execute that plan on the field. So you're going to see people try to copy, but the Seahawks team is one of one. And I'm going to end my positive by saying that 2026 will be the best year ever in Seattle sports because we've got this Super Bowl for the Seahawks. We've got the World Cup coming. You alluded to some other things as we get to the supersonic minute. I'm not going to steal your thunder on that, but we're talking about that momentum potentially going. And let's not forget about what should be a really good Huskies football team, what should be an excellent Mariners team, a Sounders team that's always right there, and a Storm club that is poised to make a jump with a new head coach. I'm calling it right now. 2026 will be the best year ever in Seattle sports, and the Seahawks give me a pretty big leg up, even if nothing else happens, but I think we're on that right track.
It's off to a heck of a start. The thing that I will say is positive.
If I don't kill the microphone.
And Nico, you saw this firsthand. I mean, there is nothing that unifies a city and a community like sports.
Yeah.
And I think we saw it with this parade. I have seen this in the past with NFC championships in Seattle, what they do just in the streets. People coming out of their homes, out of their bars, out of their neighborhoods because they want to hug one another, because they want to celebrate together. And I do a lot of politics for KOMO, and there's not a lot of subjects that people can agree on, but everybody puts that aside during a parade like this. There was a moment during the parade when I was talking to a former teacher who said, hey, 12 years ago, I skipped school. I skipped work. I told my kids to skip school. I would tell them to do this again today. It's a parenting moment. This is what you're supposed to do, is show your kids history and what it means for a community. And as she was telling me this, she was interrupted by a woman that she had never met who said, go Hawks, and they slapped high fives and gave a little hug to each other. Two people who probably never would have interacted in that moment. And it was all around the unifying aspect of the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. And it is tough to find another subject like that in today's day and age that has people come together and hug and high five over the success of a community.
Preach. Perfectly said.
That was all off the top of my head.
No, it is true. And I would go a step further to say that, I enjoyed the Super Bowl experience we were at last week, thanks to Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And I think that what was really cool, even in that moment where you have these two teams competing for a Super Bowl, you're supposed to not like the other team. It was actually quite cordial between Seahawks fans and Patriots fans. And I was thinking on a much smaller scale than what you just said. I'm like, man, if we could just do this in everyday life and other stuff, we'd be pretty good. But it was amazing. The story you just said, I bet you was played out in different scenarios and different lifestyles about 100 times at that parade, thousands of times at that parade. It was a special thing, and you never know when you're going to get another one. And to exercise the loss of 49 and beat that Patriots team again and to be on top of the football world again, doesn't get any better than that.
Is there anything negative this week?
Well, no, there's not. What I would say is, let's just stop putting stock in like off-season prognostications. Like, you have these experts that were saying 7.5 wins for the Seahawks. Even, analysts that are really high on Seattle and the Seahawks were saying, like, I don't understand how it's an upgrade to go from Geno to Sam and things of that sort. And listen, there's nothing wrong with the people who said it or their opinions. They're all entitled to it. But the idea that we're like crowning a team 6 months before a game is even played, because we think this guy isn't going to do well in the system, because we don't know about this. It's the same idea when you have in college sports. There's a ranking out before week 1. That's the dumbest thing ever. It's the dumbest thing ever. Let's stop writing teams off because we think people know what they're talking about.
Well, and to that point, I will say what it feels like this Seahawks story is so different than 2013 and 14. Because in 2012, 2013, 14, 15, the Seahawks were expected to be the top team in the NFC.
Right.
They were expected to be a dynasty. This was a team that came out of nowhere.
Right.
You were one of the only people that I know that was preaching, hey, I think they're going to be better than advertised.
Absolutely.
You go back and listen to the recordings of Inside the Arena.
Do it.
Niko was the one who was saying, I think they're better than that.
I said, pump that over on 7.5 wins.
Yeah.
I was saying 11 wins. Even I was undershooting it.
And, they got rid of Geno. Oh, they're bringing in Darnold. Oh, they made this key decision. Oh, the second-year coach. There were just a lot of negative Nellies on a national stage.
And that's why it's more important than ever to not pay, especially in the offseason, training camp, before you're seeing actual action that you can make your own opinion about. Don't pay attention to the national folks. They are not here in Seattle. Maybe they will be now that they won a Super Bowl. It's different now. But pay attention to your people that are ever there. Like I'm there every day. You look at somebody like I always think about a Greg Bell or a Bob Condotta. They're there every day. We see things that these national people aren't going to talk about or even know about.
Yeah.
And so the idea that what they say goes to millions and millions of people that are suddenly going to think the Seahawks are going to stink because we decided that Sam Darnold winning 14 games in Minnesota wasn't good enough. Calm down. And I think this is a moment where you really reflect on where you get your coverage of your favorite team from. Pay attention to the people that are actually there and paying attention every day.
Well, I'll tell you what I think is negative, and negative may be too strong a word, but it's numbers. We talked about, and we're still waiting for some sort of official estimate from the Seattle Police Department, which always, I think, when you talk about crowd sizes, they seem to be pretty accurate and always conservatively will give you a number on how many people were at something.
Sure.
But this, that in the lead up to the parade, there was a lot of talk about up to 1 million people could attend. And I'll give credit to David Gutman, who actually did some napkin analysis of just how big this crowd was for the parade, noting that the Seahawks cited simply the city of Seattle as their source for the estimate. But he did a deeper dive and went to find out that number was actually handed out by Seafair. And so he said, I'm going to do some back of envelope math. The route was 2.3 miles along 4th Avenue from Lumen to the Space Needle, the approximate route of the parade. That's 12,144 feet. 4th Avenue, including sidewalks, is about 85 feet wide. Widths vary depending on where you are on 4th, but that's a decent and generous estimate. Multiply the length of the parade by the width, and we get a parade area estimate over 1 million square feet. So then he goes on, with 1 million square feet of parade space, let's assume each person occupies 4 square feet. That's packed pretty tight, a 2 foot by 2 foot square for each person. That gives us about 258,000 people in attendance. Let's add 50,000 who were at Lumen Field. And how about we say another 100,000 watch from the windows, balconies, and roof? That yields an estimate of about 408,000.
Does a person really take up 4 square feet though?
That's a great question.
I'm not like calling the guy out. I just don't that seems like a large space unless you are maybe a larger human being, but
yeah, but there were a lot of people squeezed in.
Bill,
there.
How big is a square foot? Like, give me an estimate here, producer Bill. Like, how big do you know?
Size of your head.
Are you being serious? Or you're just making jokes. Now I'm intrigued by this because listen, if he said one person is 4 square feet and is 250, then in my mind, like, why isn't one person 1 square foot?
Well, all I know is David Gutman must have scored really
great.
well on his SAT because that is a word problem of all word problems.
Let me say this. Trust David's math over my – I couldn't pass, like, basic algebra in high school. So trust his math over mine. But I'm genuinely questioning how big is a square foot. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of math, and it's still a lot of fun to talk about. Bottom line, there were hundreds of thousands of people
without a doubt.
at the parade. And more than Oklahoma City had, by the way, when they won a title that nobody wants to talk about here, but everybody likes to talk about the crowd size. And we will talk about the NBA a little bit later in the show. How about that? How about that for a segue?
Have at it, my friend.
But first, should we talk not about the Supersonic Minute, but about the Seahawks some more? And a lot of the great content and interviews that you had in particular immediately after the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we kind of gave a little bit of a preview on that. There was some, again, the raw emotion of winning. You're in the locker room. You won't be able to see in the video, but you guess you kind of can. The smell of cigar smoke and the booze in the air as that team celebrated, the Lombardi Trophy being passed around. Abe Lucas talked about what it means to be bringing home the Lombardi Trophy. Ernest Jones calling his shot. Why he knew over a year ago this team would win the Super Bowl and do it so quickly. Jackson Smith and Jigba, NFL Offensive Player of the Year. It was one of my favorite interviews, and it wasn't a formal, like, we're going to sit in a room, whatever. It was just a really cool thing, and we're going to bring that to you right after this awesome message from our partners at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Looking for the ultimate game day spot? Head up to Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The place to be for game days. With over 60 TVs, you won't miss a single play, no matter where you sit. Grab your crew, your favorite bites, and your go-to drink, and catch every touchdown, dunk, or goal in style. Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill, where every seat is the best seat in the house. Learn more at snowcasino.com.
Abe Lucas, from Everett Archbishop Murphy to the Cougs to Super Bowl champs with the Seahawks. What does that mean?
It's so great. I mean, what a time, what a year, what a time for this city. I mean, we're world champs. Can't beat it.
Would you have ever dreamed as a kid that your group, your team and teammates would be the one to bring another banner home?
Hell yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just going through like the memories I have of watching Super Bowls and, not even like Seattle versus the Broncos or anything, but just previous Super Bowls and how much I was into it and loved it. I mean, it's so special to be a part of it.
And to do this 12 years after that one, first of all, that number's symbolic, but to kind of end a little bit of that frustration, how cool is that?
I hope everybody enjoys it. I hope the fans enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. It's special.
How many family and friends are going to be at the parade?
I don't know. We'll see. I would imagine all of them that are near. So, yeah, but it's going to be such fun.
Take me through how special this group is. It came together, and it's been remarkable to watch this team grow and be as great as you are.
I mean, look around you. Look at the continuity and the togetherness of this team. That doesn't happen everywhere, especially at this level. And, Mike's done a hell of a job. Credit to him, and John's done a hell of a job. Credit to him too. So we're just so fortunate to be here.
Abe, can I just say it again? Abe Lucas, Super Bowl champion.
Has a nice ring to it. I like it.
I don't remember, beginning of the week, we showed you the video last year when you said there's going to be another banner up there and you want to be here for it. Now there's going to be another banner up there. You called your shot, man.
Right next to it. I've been calling my shots a lot now, but man, it's a blessing. When you believe and when God's backing you, man, there's nothing you can't do. So I'm just grateful for these guys, and two-time another banner's coming.
Can't wait for that. And think about the way this has come together, the culture and everything. Describe that for us.
It literally has came together. We didn't win this championship this year. This started last year, man. With what we were building, Mike, man, the Seahawks, they did a hell of a job.
Hey, bro, stop playing with my bro. He the best middle linebacker in the whole league. All pro. He's the best middle linebacker in the whole league, man.
2 times.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
No arguments here.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
As far as you see the support from 12s, now you're giving them a parade this week. What does that mean to you?
I was telling the guys, I was like, winning in LA, there's so much going on in LA, but for a while you felt like the keys to the city were yours. It's like, bro, if we win in Seattle, what's other in Seattle other than the Seahawks? They love those 12, so I know they're going to take care of us because we took care of them.
I know you obviously have a ring on, but it's one of those things when that clock hits 0, what does it mean to you when it sets in, you're a Super Bowl champion again?
And the first thing I thought about was my dad, and then I thought about, man, it's going to look good, 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Absolutely. Ernest Jones, appreciate your time. For all the 12s in Seattle, how special is it to deliver this to them?
Very special, man. It's very special. It's great to bring it back to Seattle. So deserving, a deserving city, a deserving team, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it. I'm so happy that I was selected to be a Seahawk, man. I give all glory to God. He knows what he's doing, and I'm just here trusting the vision and trusting, having faith. And, I'm just happy for the city. I'm happy for everybody involved.
when that clock hit 0, you think about your own journey. What did it mean to you to you're officially Super Bowl champion?
Man, for them, you know, you can't take that away. You know, we're in the history books, you know, and you can't take that away from us. And I'm just so happy for our guys, you know, and Sam and Ernest Jones, Charles Cross, you know, Devin Witherspoon. I mean, there's so many names I can name. You know, I'm just so happy for those guys. They deserve it, and we're champs, man.
Can I just say for you, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Super Bowl champion?
Yes, sir. Put some respect on it. You know what I'm saying? Put some respect on it. You got to respect it. You can say what you want to say, but that's what it is.
And you delivered it to Seattle.
Man, it's a blessing. It's a dream come true.
How about your hometown? Back at Lake Stevens.
Let's go. I'm on text with everybody back home. They're all excited.
What's this mean as a guy who grew up in the area for you?
Everything, man. Super Bowl world champions. It's huge for the city. It's huge for the organization and for the fandom. You know, the 12s, baby.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, that last voice you heard there was Chris Pratt, the son of Lake Stevens, or the native of Lake Stevens, who has become a TV and movie star, a Seahawks super fan. You're in the locker room with those guys.
We kind of had it covered.
He's running out on the field. We stopped him. We stopped some others being in the middle of the celebration. And it just, I mean, the confetti coming down and raining down on our heads as we're doing all that. It's one of those kind of magical. You just kind of take a step back and you look around a lot like Mike McDonald did after he won the Super Bowl, kind of looking up at the confetti and looking and realizing that's a Super Bowl victory.
Yeah, I loved his appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Monday night. Like, that just showed the rest of the country why everybody loves Mike McDonald here in Seattle. He's this genius of a head coach, but he's personable. He's down to earth. He's a perfect guy to be leading this football team. As if the results on the field didn't already tell you that. What a special time.
Well, we do like to do it every week, and we've kind of taken some liberties here with the format this week, but there is something to talk about with the Supersonic Minute that's a little bit longer than a minute. If I find the buzzer.
Green. No, it's green for Sonics.
The green for Sonics.
Just remember that. Are you writing down green for Sonics?
I'm writing down green for Sonics. Okay. So as all of this Super Bowl stuff was going on, there were little nuggets of information. And keep in mind, you may be listening to this before NBA Commissioner Adam Silver addresses the media at NBA All-Star Weekend. So it starts with, as you and I are in San Francisco, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson decides he's going to put out a release of his schedule and that he's meeting with Adam Silver.
Right.
And I think a lot of people get these press releases, didn't pay much attention to his 2-week-long schedule. And credit to Tim Booth from the Seattle Times for seeing it first. But it was right there in black and white for everybody to see. He's meeting with Adam Silver. Turns out his office says it was an introductory phone call that turned into an introductory Zoom call. He just wanted to tell the commissioner he's here as the Washington governor to do anything possible to bring the NBA back, and that he went to Lenny Wilkins basketball camps. And the commissioner's office did say that they also characterized it as a positive call, a good call between Silver and the governor, but doesn't really mean a whole lot big picture. It doesn't sound like Ferguson was consulting with anybody on that before he set that up. So that happens. Then we have the Super Bowl. Then we have a writer down in the Dallas Morning News who is an enterprise writer who says that he believes it's going to be a good year for Seattle, and I'm paraphrasing his tweet, that he believes the NBA is going to expand by 2, Seattle and Vegas, later on this year. Then you have Reggie Miller, the NBA great, the Hall of Famer, tell the Dan Patrick Show he believes it's a foregone conclusion that the NBA will expand to Seattle. And so here we are with all these little nuggets. And then Senator Maria Cantwell comes to the parade here in Seattle and says that she believes this is going to be a show from the fans, from the business community, from the area that the NBA can return to Seattle, that there are that many sports fans, and says she even can put a timeline on it after her conversations with Adam Silver. Here is what she told me on the parade day. As far as this parade, we had the Mariners last fall, the Seahawks, the Torrent, the Kraken, the World Cup. Is there any room left for any other team maybe in this town?
Well, it's been a very big year for sports in Seattle, and you know how many of those things really matter to our fans. This is an unbelievable, epic championship. But the Mariners came close, and people are looking at that again. The fact that the Kraken, and now we have a women's team. So, I mean, sports is very alive and well, but we want our Sonics back. And we're glad that the NBA is now finally saying they're going to start a process where they're going to consider 2 expansion teams. When they start saying those words, we're now going to get serious about 2 expansion teams. It looks like cities like Seattle and Las Vegas fare very well in those economics and those systems. So I hope that they will do this later in March, that start that consideration, and that we'll know soon what's going to happen.
So the governor here prompted a call with the NBA commissioner. It was a call/Zoom to say he's interested in helping. There's a question of what the governor can do at this point, but what can a United States senator do about bringing back the Sonics?
Well, we obviously pay a lot of attention to these issues and making sure that all franchises, are getting their act together. That is on a whole variety of issues. So there's a lot of dialogue. Let's just say there's a lot of dialogue a lot of the time.
Do you talk to your colleagues in Oregon who have a team that's also looking for state money to build an arena right now?
Yes.
What can you say about that?
Well, I just think, Portland is very interested in securing their continued future, and Seattle is very interested in reasserting ourselves into the NBA. And so I think both are going to work out.
All right, so that is Senator Maria Cantwell on the day of the championship parade, alluding to March as when she thinks the NBA is going to move forward with some sort of formal expansion process, and that she has had conversations. She also, you heard in that brief part of our interview, that she believes this has been great, that the World Cup will be great for making that pitch to Seattle, and that she's had conversations with Senator Ron Wyden from Oregon, who's also concerned about the Portland Trail Blazers, and that she believes both situations will work out, that one is not, reading between the lines there, one is not connected to the other.
Well, listen, this is all welcome news. I think that the major difference that we're seeing, because, listen, I understand there's going to be a lot of basketball fans that hear this and say, okay, well, we've been hearing positive things since 2022. But I think the fact that our local leaders, politicians are this open and forward about it means that there's something reading between the lines that is cooking, that Bob Ferguson didn't just decide on a random Tuesday, whatever day of the week it was, hey, I'm going to call the commissioner today. There was obviously wheels turning behind the scenes that would make the governor of Washington State want to do that. So fingers crossed, we'll stand by. And Inside the Arena, of course, we'll be on it.
2026 could be a heck of a year.
I called it. I called my Ernest Jones shot. You know who else called their shot? David.
Oh. You've been listening to Inside the Arena with Niko and Chris. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. Until next time.
Inside the Arena was presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sports book.